everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is May 19th, which is Armed Forces Day, and also known as the last day of Armed Forces Week, I believe. Now, originally today I was gonna do a little something special music video, but in honor of Armed Forces Day. But since my computer's in the shop, I'm gonna have to change it up, and instead I'll be talking about Armed Forces Day. Now, several nations of the world hold an annual Armed Forces Day in honor of their military forces. It is similar to the Veterans Day of the United States or Remembrance Day in many other nations. They talk about each country. First up, Argentina. In Argentina, the commemorative days of the armed forces are as follows. May 17th, Argentina Navy Day. May 29th, Argentina Army Day, and August 10th, Argentina Air Force Day. Armenia. I can't pronounce it, so in English it means Army Day. I don't know how to say it in Armenian. Army Day is celebrated on January 28th to commemorate the formation of the armed forces of the newly independent Republic of Argentina in 1992. Next up is Australia and New Zealand. Anzac Day is a public holiday commemorated on April 25th. It is a national day of remembrance in Australia and New Zealand that broadly commemorate all Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations, and the contribution and suffering of all those who have served. The day commemorates the landings in 1915 at Anzac Cove by Australian and New Zealand forces, the beginning of the costly Gallipoli campaign. Azerbaijan. I don't know what it is. Shilali Kulabira Gunu. Again, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. So, in English, it means Day of the Armed Forces. It's celebrated on 26th of June. The events are centered around a military parade in Baku. The national capital. The annual parade is one of the biggest in the Commonwealth of Independent States. Bangladesh. Bangladesh observes Armed Forces Day on November 21st to mark the occasion of the Tri-Services Joint Operation against occupying Pakistani forces in the Liberation War of 1971. The day starts with laying of a floral wreath and Shikha Anraban, eternal flame, at Dhaka cantonment by the President, the Prime Minister, and the service chiefs. In the afternoon, a reception is held at Singkanju, Dhaka cantonment, where the Prime Ministers, the leaders of the opposition, and other high civil and military officials attend. In other cantonments, naval bases, and air bases, similar receptions are held. A special TV program, Arnaban, is broadcast on different TV channels the previous evening, and special newspaper supplements are published with national dailies. Receptions are also held by the Prime Minister and the service chiefs for receptions of the Gallantry Award, Freedom Fighter Award. Special meals for family members are served in all military stations. The Armed Forces Division also brings out a special publication with articles related to the War of Independence and the Armed Forces. Bolivia. Bolivia Armed Forces Day. Día de las Fuerzas Armadas de Bolivia is marked on August 7th, the day after Independence Day, as it was the day in 1826 when Bolivia's first president, Antonio Huas de Sucre, officially gave his sanction to the creation of the Armed Forces of Bolivia. Brazil. And just a heads up, Brazil is labeled as a potential superpower, just like the United States. Russia, I'll get to that. In Brazil, the commemoration dates of the armed forces are as follows: Marinha do Brasil, English Brazilian Navy, June 11th. Data Manga de Marinha do Brasil, English Brazilian Navy Commemoration Day, December 13th. Dia do Marinheiro, English Sailors Day. Exercitro Brasileiro. I still have trouble pronouncing that stuff. English Brazilian Army. April 19th. Dia do Exercito, English Brazilian Army Commemorative Day. August 25th. Dia do Soldado, English Soldiers Day. Força Aérea Brasileira, English Brazilian Air Force Day. October 23rd. Sorry. Dia do Aviador, English Aviators Day. Bulgaria. The Day of Bravery and Bulgarian Armed Forces Day is commemorated every year on the 6th of May, the feast of Saint George, who is the patron saint of the Bulgarian Armed Forces. The national parade is held on Prince Alexander of Battenberg Square in Sofia, the national capital city, on this day, with a statue taken by the President of Bulgaria, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. Canada. In Canada, Canadian Armed Forces Day is the first Sunday in June and is a celebration of Canada's armed services, their heritage, and their personnel. Canadian Armed Forces Day is not a public holiday in Canada. Wow, that's a bummer. It should be. Chile. In Chile, Dia de las Glorias del Ejército, Army Day, is a national holiday celebrated every September 19th, the day after the Independence Day, with the Parada Military, a parade where all the branches of the armed forces display some of their troops and equipment in a special part of the Paraguay O'Higgins and Santiago. Several other smaller parades can be seen. Can be seen on other cities of the country, as well as air displays by the Air Force on Independence Day, September 18th. For the Chilean Navy, its counterpart is the National Dia de las Glorias de la Armada, Navy Day. Celebrates on May 21st in honor of the double anniversaries of the Battle of Equali and the Battle of Ponta Grossa in 1879. Valparaiso is where the main celebrations are concentrated, with a military parade in the morning and the President of Chile's State of the Nation address in the afternoon. Similar parades are hosted in in major and minor cities and towns nationwide. There's so much. China, also known as the People's Republic of China. The Army Day is celebrated in the People's Republic of China on August 1st in commemoration of the founding of the People's Liberation Army in 1927. That was before World War II. Croatia. In Croatia, the commemorative dates of the armed forces are as follows. Republic of Croatia Armed Forces Day. May 28th, Croatian Armed Forces Day, marking the day of the first ever public parade of the military forces on May 28, 1991 on May 28, 1991 on Stadion Krajuški Zagreb. Croatian Army. In Croatian Army Day, Croatian Navy. That's a laser. May 28th, Croatian Army Day. Croatian Navy, September 18th. Croatian Navy Day. Croatian Air Force and Defense, December 12th. Croatian Air Force Day. The entire Croatian Armed Forces are also honored on August 5th, Victory and Homeland Defenders Day, and the Day of the Defenders of Croatia, celebrating the anniversary of the 1995 Operation Storm. Cuba. Hear me. The Day of the Cuban Armed Forces is celebrated on December 2nd to commemorate the landing of the Grama in 1956, the first ever military parade in years to be held on the holiday was marked in 2006. The parade on January 2nd, 2017, postponed for 1 month due to the death and state funeral of Fidel Castro, will be the second and will be the final event marking the Diamond Jubilee since the events of 1956. Now, just a heads up, Fidel Castro survived the most assassination attempts ever in human history. If I'm right, that is. Correct. Anyway, back on topic. Armed for Dominican Republic. Armed Forces Day is celebrated on February 25th to commemorate the anniversary of the Armed Forces of the Dominican Republic. It is also the day of birth of Marias Roman Melian, who is regarded as a national hero in the Dominican Republic and fired the first shots with his blunderbuss to proclaim, along with other patriots, the independence from Haiti on February 27, 1844. On February 27th, a military parade is held to commemorate the independence anniversary. I almost forgot. China is also labeled as a potential superpower. In Egypt, Armed Forces Day is celebrated on October 6th, the day on which the October War of 1973 began, with the Egyptian Army's successful crossing of the Suez Canal that culminated in the capture of Barleb Line. In Finland, Day of the Finnish Defense Forces, literally the day of the Finnish Defense Forces flag test, is celebrated on June 4th, which is the birthday of Marshal of Finland Gustav Mannerheim. During 1919 and 1939, it was called as the Day of the Finnish Army's Flag Fest, and was celebrated on 16th as the Victory Day of the troops of the Republic of Finland. Example: the whites over the Reds in the Civil War of 1918. After the Winter War, there were there were no need to maintain the di- dichotomy of Finnish society, and the celebrations of May 16th were ended. During Mannerheim's 75th birthday, the Finnish government declared that from then on, June 4th would officially celebrated as the birthday of Marshal of Finland, even though the official name of the day changed soon after. It is still known, also in the official context, as the birthday of Marshal of Finland. France. Now, France is also a potential superpower. Possible. During France's National Day, France honors its armed forces during the military parade of July 14th, which is the oldest and largest military parade in Europe. Georgia. Georgia marks its Armed Forces Day on April 30th to commemorate the foundation of the Georgian Armed Forces in 1991. Greece marks its Armed Forces Day on November 21st, on the day of Presentation of Mary. Guatemala. In Guatemala, it's celebrated. Dia del Ejército is celebrated on June 30th. It is remembered because in 1871, the Liberal Revolution Liberal, led by led by Miguel Gracia Garno dos and Gustav Rufino Barrios, and composed of personnel of the Guatemalan Army, marched on the streets of Guatemala City and captured the presidential palace, putting an end to the conservadora administration formerly headed by Rafael Carriela, marking the start of a new era in Guatemalan history. Parades are held in honor of the holiday in Guatemala City and in other major towns nationwide. In Haiti, Le Jour de la Bataille des Fortiers is celebrated on November 18th in celebration of the victory of the indigenous slave African and gens de Couleur versus the European forces led by France with support from the United States and Spain. In Hungary, the Patriots and Homeland Defenders Day is celebrated on May 21st, honoring all those serving in the Hungarian Defense Force. In India, Army Day is celebrated on January 15th, Navy Day is celebrated on December 4th, and Air Force Day is celebrated on October 8th every year, and December 7th is celebrated as Armed Forces Flag Day. That's also the day the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. India is also a potential superpower. So no offense, Pakistan. Okay. Pakistanis, if any of you are watching this. Indonesia. The Indonesian National Armed Forces Day is celebrated on October 5th, the day of foundation of the People's Security Armed Forces, the predecessor of the TNI in 1945, itself a replacement for the People's Security Corps, established on August 29th the same year. Military parades are held nationwide in major cities and provincial capitals in honor of the TNI servicemen and women and military veterans. Iran Army Day is celebrated on April 18th, the establishment day of the Army. Iraqi Armed Forces Day is celebrated on January 6th and marks the anniversary of the activation of the Iraq Army on January 6, 1921. Israel. Yom HaZikaron, also known as Memorial Day, is observed on the fourth day of the month of Iyar of the Hebrew calendar, or May in the Gregorian calendar. Always proceed the next day celebrations of Israel independence. Yom Had As Juma Us on the fifth day of Iyar, the anniversary of the proclamation of the State of Israel in 1948. Now, for if there are any Arabs watching this that have a thing against Israel, you should know that the Soviet Union tried to vote in favor for the creation of Israel. If any of you didn't know that. But only because they thought they could turn it into a communist state for Stalin. And I thought he cared. That was wrong. Because who wouldn't be horrified after seeing the Holocaust? I know there are Holocaust deniers out there, but personally, I think they should be sent back in time to experience the Holocaust for themselves. See it firsthand. Anyway, back on topic. Italy, Armed Forces Day is celebrated on November 4th to remember the Italian victory in the First World War. On November 4th, 1918, Austrian-Hungarian forces agreed to a ceasefire, thus ending the war on the Italian front. The following World War I was a pretty chaotic mess. There was no right or wrong side to choose. It was just a big bad mess. But there were some things that caused it that could have been prevented, and thus prevent the rise of Nazi Germany. Anyway, back on topic. The following service holidays are celebrated all over the Italian Armed Forces: Army Day, May 4th, Navy Day, June 10th. The first one was also known as the Italian Army, and for the Italian Navy, the Italian Air Force Day. March 26th, Garia Biennale Days, June 5th, and July 13th. In Japan, following the end of World War II and beginning in 1966, the Self-Defense Force Day is celebrated every November 1st. The parade honoring the SDF, however, falls on the last week of October. Kazakhstan. The Defenders of the Fatherland Day of Kazakhstan is observed on May 7th to mark the founding of the Armed Forces of Kazakhstan on May 7th, 1992, after the fall of the USSR. Now, the USSR fell on Christmas Day, 1991. I bet for many people that's probably the best Christmas gift to ever get. I just wish Russia was a democracy like America, or a free state like America. I was living by the Freedom House. But I guess it's a progress. The road still needs to go. You know what I mean? Anyway. The anniversary of the Lao Army was observed annually every January 20th to celebrate the creation of the independent Lao Army on January 20th, 1949. Every year, large posters are placed to remind that date, which was marked the first step towards full independence and domination of the Lao Communist Party. If I'm correct, Pol Pot was the leader there, and I think he made a mistake, a huge mistake, by attacking directly the Vietnamese government. They didn't take it lightly at all. But that's the problem with forming a big empire. One thing, because there will be people that are infighting and want more power for themselves. So it's been a large empire. Anyway, back on topic. Latvia. The Latvian National Armed Forces Day is marked every May 4th, the anniversary of the 1999 resolution on the restoration of the independence of the Republic of Latvia, which gave way towards the full resolution of the Latvian national nation after 50 years as a republic of the Soviet Union. Lebanon Armed Forces Day or Armed Forces Day is celebrated on August 1st. Macedonia. The day of Macedonia Army is celebrated on August 18th. This date is chosen because on August 18th, 1943, the battalion Merici Akrivi formed at the Slavy Mountain. It was the first organized battalion to fight against the fascist forces in World War II in Macedonia. The day is not a national holiday, but is celebrated with a manifestation at one of the army's barracks, where the president, the speaker of the assembly, the prime minister, and the minister of defense are always present. Usually there is a parade of the armed forces and an exhibition of the weapons and vehicles of the army. Now fascists, don't get me started with them. They're monsters. There's no such thing as a good fascist. At least I don't think. Anyway, personally I believe fascists are a party created by Satan, or in Islam, Iblis. Mali Army Day is celebrated on January 20th. Malaysian Armed Forces Day is celebrated on September 16th. Mariantina Armed Forces Day, also known as Armed Forces Day, is celebrated on May 1st. May Day. That's May Day for those who don't know. Mexican Armed Forces Day, also known as Armed Forces Day in English, is celebrated on the 19th of February since 1950 in commemoration of the decree that created them in 1917. That was a year before the end of World War I, I mean to say. Mongolia. Soldiers' Day is celebrated on March 18th annually. On March 18, 1921, Sukhar Bhattar's troops succeeded in taking the town despite being heavily outnumbered. This day is now the official holiday in Mongolian army and is usually celebrated as the equivalent of the Defenders of the Fatherland Day in Russia, or the male version of International Women's Day. Mongolia is between Russia and China, and those two are dictatorships, for sure. Mongolia is a democracy. They probably have to have strong... Now, if I had to guess, I bet their armed forces are as strong as Israel. Because being surrounded by enemies on all sides, woo! And if Russia and China ever went to war against each other, I bet it get really nasty and they have to defend themselves. But that's just my guess. But that's just a hypothetical theory. Anyway. Myanmar. In Myanmar, Armed Forces Day is celebrated on March 27th in commemoration of the start of Burmese army resistance to Japanese occupation in 1945. Originally, it it was not Armed Forces Day, but Resistance Day. Japanese back in World War II were pretty much savage. I know times changed in this time, and they moved on from that whole thing. I think it's time to forgive and forget, but never forget. Just move on, but always keep it documented, because there's an old saying: those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. In Nigeria, Armed Forces Day, also known as Remembrance Day, is celebrated on January 15th. It's celebrated on January 15th. It was formerly celebrated on November 11th. That's Veterans Day in America. Of every year to coincide with the Remembrance Day, a Poppy Day for the World War II veterans in the British Commonwealth of Nations, but it was changed to January 15th in Nigeria in commemoration of the surrender of Biafran troops to the federal troops on January 15, 1970, thus concluding the Nigerian Civil War that sought to tear apart the unity of Nigeria. In North Korea, People's Army's Day is celebrated on April 25th in commemoration of the day of the creation of the Korean People's Army, KPA. In 1932, on that holiday, North Korea holds a national commemorative assembly in Pyongyang and various commemorative events. Firepower, demonstrations, concerts, and the military parade. Since April 23rd, 1996, when the Central People's Committee issued an ordinance making it a national holiday, both the entire military and civilians are permitted to take off from work to celebrate all those serving in the KPA and its veterans. Now, before you judge North Korea negatively, you should either watch documentaries of what life is like in there, or go there yourself, because it's pretty normal. So don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm hoping in the future, we could stop looking at each other. America, North Korea, Japan, South Korea can all stop looking at each other as enemies and start looking at each other more as friends. That's what I'm wishing for. In Pakistan, the Federal Army, Navy, and Air Force celebrate Defense Day, September 6th. The Navy Day, Victory Day, September 8th, and the Air Force Day, September 7th, respectively. Usually, the ceremony takes place on the resolution of Pakistan Day, March 23rd, when all three services display their full colors and guards of honor, as well as on Independence Day, August 14th, which is on August 14th. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to go blow my nose. And I can't do that on camera because if I did that, a lot of you goes, ew. That's it, but that's bad manners, so don't do it. So for any of you doing a live video or recording a video to put online, don't do that. That's just tip me. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, in Peru, the Peruvian Armed Forces Day is celebrated on September 24th, the feast of the Virgin of Mercy, patroness of the armed forces. The day of the Peruvian Army itself is December 9th, commemorating Peru's victory in the Battle of Ayacucho, which ended the Peruvian War of Independence. While for the Peruvian Navy Day is on October 8th, the double anniversary of the 1821 foundation of the Navy and of the Navy and the Battle of Angamos in 1879. Air Force Day is held on July. Battle of Angamos in 1879. Air Force Day is held on July 23rd, the anniversary of the death of Peruvian Air Force Lieutenant Juan Buenos Gonzalez during the 1941 Ecuadorian-Peruvian War. That's also the time of World War II. The Great Military Parade of Peru is held on the day after Independence Day, July 29th, and this is where all three services of the armed forces are also honored. The Philippines Armed Forces Day is observed on December 21st, the anniversary of the official founding of the Armed Forces of the Philippines in 1935, in accordance with the Cal Number 1 National Defense Act of 1935. I'm not surprised that the Philippines went through some tough times. There was the Japanese occupation, that greedy dictator in the Philippines. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And the terror. And that's probably all I'm gonna say. Don't want to risk upsetting people. In Poland, the Polish Armed Forces Day is celebrated annually on August 15th. Began in 1923, the day commemorated the anniversary of Poland's 1920 victory over Soviet Russia at the Battle of Warsaw. In the Polish-Soviet War, the holiday was discontinued during the communist era in 1947, only to be revived again after the return of democracy in 1992, which is kind of sad. They thought they were going to be liberated by the Soviet Union, but instead Stalin turned on them and just occupied it. Didn't bother. Never gave them independence back from Nazi Germany, and you get the idea. In Romania, the Armed Forces Day is celebrated on October 25th. On this day, in 1944, the Romanian Land Forces liberated Caria, the last Romanian city under joint Nazi-Hungarian occupation. The Romanian-Hungary border had been reached a few days early by the troops rested, completing the liberation of Romania. The Russian Federation is also a potential superpower like the United States, Brazil, China, India. In Russia, the Defenders of the Fatherland Day is celebrated on February 23rd, honoring all those serving in the Russian armed forces. In the Soviet Union, there was Day of the Soviet Army celebrated on the same date. In Russia, the following holidays are celebrated by military personnel, veterans, and the general public. Russian Special Operations Forces Day. First, this should be Russian Special Operation Forces Day, not The grammar just doesn't add up. On February 27th, commemorating the annexation of the Crimean Peninsula in Ukraine in 2014. Victory Day on May 9th. Victory Day marks Germany's surrender to the Soviet Union in 1945. Navy Day. On the last Sunday of July, Paratroopers Day. On August 2nd, Russian Air Force Day. On August 12th, Russian Ground Forces Day. On October 1st, in honor of the 1,550 excuse me, 1,550 raising of the first Celatry Detachment. Russian Aerospace Defense Forces Day on October 4th, the date of the 1957 launching of Sputnik. Russian Naval Infantry Day. I don't have much time. Russian Infantry Day. Russian Naval Infantry Day on November 27th, the day of its 1705 founding. Strategic Missile Troops Day on December 17th. And I guess now just since I'm running low on battery, I'm gonna have to cut. I'm probably gonna have to cut this video short, but I'm gonna probably go through one more. That's with the United States. And speaking of that, in the United Kingdom, the marriage of Prince Henry went on. So So I'm giving a shout out to you, Prince Harry, if you're watching this. You're lucky, man. I wish I could meet you, like so many others, but I'm probably a special case. Hopefully. Anyway. In the United States, Armed Forces Day is celebrated on the third Saturday in May. It falls near the end of Armed Forces Week, which begins on the second Saturday of May and ends on the third Sunday of May. The fourth if the month begins on a Sunday, as in 2016. First observed on May 20th, 1950. The day was created on August 31st, 1949, to honor Americans serving in the 5 U.S. military branches: the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, and U.S. Coast Guard. Following the consolidation of the military services in the U.S. Department of Defense, it was intended to replace the separate Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard days, but the separate days are still observed, especially within the respective services. The first Armed Forces Day was celebrated by parades, open houses, receptions, and air shows. The United States' longest continuously running Armed Forces Day parade is held in Bremerton, Washington. In 2017, Bremerton celebrated the 69th year of the Armed Forces Day parade. Because of their unique training schedules, National Guard and Reserve units may celebrate Armed Forces Day such week over any period in the month of May. On May 19, 2007, President Donald Trump hate that man, reaffirmed the Armed Forces Day holiday, marking the 70th anniversary since the creation of the Department of Defense. Also, aside from the federal holiday, the Armed Forces and the National Guard Bureau are honored on the following days: last Monday of May, Memorial Day; June 14th, Flag Day and Army Day, United States Army; August 4th, Coast Guard Day, United States Coast Guard; September 17th, Air Force Day, U.S. Air Force; October 13th, U.S. Navy's birthday, United States Navy; October 27th, Navy Day, United States Navy; November 10th, Marine Corps Day, United States Marine Corps; and the day after that is November 11th, Veterans Day; December 13th, National Guard Day, National Guard of the United States. If you want more, I got this information all from Wikipedia. So if you want more information, see also Anzac Day, Armistice Day, Red Poppy, Remembrance Day, Remembrance Sunday, Veterans Day, Bullock's Tree God, Navy Day. I wish my mom was here so I can have her say hi, but she's not. She's at a neighbor's house. Anyway, all those serving, happy Armed Forces Day. I salute you. Alright. Yeah, that's better. Sorry, I had it wrong. To all those who served and are serving right now, I salute you. Bye. Oh, before I go, you want more information about this? Go look online. Look online or go to the countries to see it for yourselves. All right. Till next time. This is Jeffrey Bartle saying, peace out.